Today I'm going to be going over how many cycles or rounds you could fire in at least the 4 CoolFire trainers that I have. Um, the Glock 34 is 5.5, the P320 Legion is 5, the regular P320 Nitron is like 4.25 or 4.5, and the 1911, which that's like maybe 4.5. And we'll go over and I'll show you the number of cycles that I found out that each one of these hold on a full CO2 tank. So for the CoolFire barrel for this 1911, that's 5 inches long. It will actually be surprisingly hold or go through 19 rounds before I have to fill it up, and that is when I put the CO2 on there and I count 30 seconds. And I have 19 rounds that I could go off with this, which is very surprising considering it's a 5-inch barrel. And some of the other 5-inch barrels actually go a little further. So that one was a bit of a surprise, but 19 cycles for this CoolFire trainer in 1911. On the CoolFire trainer for this Glock 34, when I fill it up for 30 seconds, I get 32 rounds or 32 cycles. So for this CoolFire trainer in the P320 X5 Legion series 5-inch barrel, I'm getting about 32 rounds per cycle, which is per cycle is 30 seconds. Put this canister on, count 30 seconds, and have at it. 32 cycles, which is most USPSA stages, if you don't miss. For this CoolFire trainer, you have a regular P320 Nitron, which is about 4.5 length barrel. That one is coming in at 24 rounds per cycle. Count 30 seconds. And as I fill it up, and I got 24 rounds to play with it. This is the 90 grain CO2 cylinder that I use to refill the CoolFire barrels. Usually get 2 of these off for $16 to $19 off Amazon. It's pretty much good for about 120 cycles, which is pretty much your local 6-stage USPSA matches or even IDPA. And that's counting when you fill it in, count to 30, and you could get a good solid number of them of cycles, or 30, depending on the gun. And as I mentioned earlier, for the 30 seconds that you're plugging this in, and for the 30 seconds, you'll pretty much get 110, 120 solid cycles, and then after that, you could squeeze out some more, but then you'll start to maybe counting up to 40 or 50 just for it to fully fill up, because there's less in the canister, less pressure to push in the cylinder. So you have to count a little bit higher as it goes on to squeeze out a little more shots. But then also, even then, you could do 50 seconds, and it might not be the 32 rounds that you're expecting. It could be 25. So, and I've noticed that with other kind of green gases as well. So there it is. Naturally, if you have a compact gun like a Glock 26 or a P365, you're probably going to get less rounds. Considering this was my lowest one at 19, which it still holds more than a regular 1911, no matter how you cut it, with 45 or 9. Well, it shoots more with one fill up. But for a P320, Glock 26, you might get I'm guessing, just based on the barrel length, I'm guessing you might get 14, maybe 19. So if you want more bang for your buck, you can always get the extender, which I never have. Or if you have longer pistols, then you might get 32 rounds out of it. But considering I mostly use these for some simulator practices and some actual or non-simulated dry fire practice, here and there, not all the time, because if I did it every day, then I pretty much be going through these every day, 4 days, $40 a week. It's still more than 100, it's still less than 100 rounds of 9mm, and I'm getting, what, 480 rounds, more rounds for this, but still, you do that every day, then it gets a little costly after a while, but I do still use them every now and then for certain dry fire practices and some simulators too. I've had these for a couple of years. Actually, I got this one. This was pre-COVID, so this was at least 2019, and it's still going pretty strong for almost 5 years now. And then the next one was this one, which was a year later, so it's like maybe 4 years, and then 4 years, 3 years. And I've had this one for 3 years, and I haven't really had much problems with them. I did have one problem where they had to swap out a disc on this one, but the rest of them have been pretty solid. So if you want to actually train with your firearm, CoolFire is well known that you just swap out your barrel and spring, and you get to use the same firearm that you do for matches. Same trigger, same magazines, same sight. Just swap out a barrel. And that's one of the things I love about them, is I get to practice dry fire practice with the simulated recoil with my own gun inside, especially during these cold days. So check them out at CoolFireTrainer.com.